besties, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A. It has been so long since I last did a Q&A, and so I thought it was about time because I recently got a bump in subscribers. I hit 30,000, and so I thought it would be a great way to celebrate just doing a question answer, have you guys ask me questions, things you want to know about me so that you can get to know me. I'm so excited for all the people that have joined me on my channel, as well as everyone who's been here since the beginning. However long you've been a subscriber, I'm so grateful for you. Before we get into the questions, I do have a very special announcement. I can't wait to the end because I'm way too excited to talk about it. I am starting my very own Patreon. Nothing's going to be changing about my main channel. I just wanted to create extra content for you guys. If you're not interested in hearing about the Patreon, feel free to skip to this timestamp and you can just get into the questions and no hard feelings. But for everyone who wants to stay and listen, I'm gonna share with you everything that there is to know about my new Patreon. First and foremost, the number one reason that I wanted to create a Patreon is I love the idea of creating a private bookish community. This is a place where I can not only connect with you guys, but then you guys can also connect with one another. Girlies is the base level tier, and it will essentially have all the basics you'd want from a booktuber Patreon. It will include a private Discord for us to chat about books and life and anything in between. You also will have access to all of my Patreon updates. This includes life announcements, behind the scenes, photos. I'm not much of an Instagram user, and so I'm thinking I might use this feed as a way to share things in my life that I don't normally share because I don't really post on Instagram stories or anything. This tier will also include all of the live shows. My ideas for live shows is number one, obviously reading sprints, but then I was also thinking that we could just do general hangouts and game nights, also maybe like crafting and productivity nights. I think that would be really fun. I have a lot of ideas for different things we can do on live. The thing that I'm most excited about is launching my very own book club called the BFF Book Club. Every month there will be a new book and then we'll just read it together, we'll get on a live show, we'll discuss it, and it'll be tons of fun. And the last super exciting thing that I'll be including on this tier is that when you join, you'll be getting a welcome package. So when you create an account on Patreon and you follow me, they will ask you for your address, and so if you provide your address, you'll be sent a package in the mail. I have made handmade stickers for each of the tiers. Making stickers is something that I do on the side because of Cricut, and I have an Etsy shop, and so I thought, why not share that with my patrons? So you'll be getting 2 stickers. The first sticker you'll be getting is the logo for the tier. So this one says "Let's Go Girlies," which is so cute and so fun. And then you'll also be getting a sticker for our book club. It's this little ticket that says BFF Book Club, and it's sparkly and cute, and it just basically admits you into our little club. Also, if you're international, don't worry, I will be including international people when I'm sending these out. The way I'll be sending them is through USPS with stamps. So if you live in another country, do not fear because I will be including you and you will get these in the mail. This whole tier is available to you for $5 a month, which when you think about it is cheaper than this grande iced caramel latte from Starbucks. Coffee. I don't drink coffee. And then we have the highest tier, which is the besties. As many of you are aware, if you've been on my channel, I love calling everyone my bestie, so it was only fitting that I call the top tier this. This tier is really exciting because it includes everything we just talked about, plus the ability to vote on things. So there'll be polls in my Patreon updates where you can vote on the book club pick, things for my TBR, as well as ideas for my videos. Pretty much anything that I want to put a poll about, you'll be able to vote on. In addition to the book club, the besties will actually have an opportunity to be featured on the live show that I have. So every month I'll put out a post on Patreon saying the date and time of the live show and asking for volunteers. And then whoever is available at that time, if they put their name down, then I'll pick someone at random and I'll have 1 to 2 besties in each of the live shows. This tier will also include exclusive videos, meaning that in addition to all the videos I put on my regular channel, I will have special ones that are just for the besties to see. These videos will consist of extended reading vlogs, as well as lifestyle things, maybe things with my boyfriend, things with my dog, just a lot of things that I don't post about on my channel regularly. I also will want the besties to request video ideas, so anything that you want to see on my Patreon, it could become an exclusive video. On top of those exclusive videos, you will also get a reading vlog every month for the book club pick that's full of spoilers and all my thoughts. So if you missed the live show or don't want to watch a live show, you can also just watch this vlog. Another thing I'm really excited about for this tier is doing Patreon readathons. If you're an OG on my channel, you might remember that I used to host a readathon called Slay That Series, where we basically just tried to read sequels that we'd been meaning to read, and I have been wanting to bring that back for so long. And now that I have a Patreon, I think it would be so much fun to do it privately between us, because honestly, hosting a readathon on just regular YouTube is really stressful and a lot. So I just think it'd be so much fun to do do it with my Patreon and with my little bookish community. And so we'll be doing Slay That series at some point within the next few months. And then I also will be doing a readathon for Sara I, so we can do a little Halloween themed readathon, and it will just be so much fun. Also, in addition to those welcome stickers, I thought it would be so much fun to reward the first 80 people that sign up. If you are one of those first 80, you will actually be receiving this special bookmark that I designed myself. It's a little reading tracker where you can write down the title of the book and the date that you finish it and then give it your star rating. I thought it would be so cute if we were to use this to track all of the book club picks. The final benefit that you'll be getting on the besties tier is that every December I will be sending out more stickers. The designs will change every year and you guys can help me come up with ideas as well as vote on the ideas, and so it'll just be like a fun little holiday gift that you get every year. The besties tier will be available for $9 per month, which honestly is cheaper than this meal I got at Taco Bell. I've got a cheesy gordita crunch and a chicken quesadilla, and somehow this came out to $12. I feel like Taco Bell's been raising their prices, so I feel like my Patreon is actually a better deal, and it won't give you diarrhea. I do want to say that if joining my Patreon is not something that's in your budget or you can't really afford it, that is totally fine. Your support here on YouTube means so much to me, and it is more than enough. Getting into the Q&A, the first question that I was asked is, if you could make one book required reading for high school language arts class, what would it be? And to that I have to say The Diviners by Libba Bray. This is one of my absolute favorite young adult books. I feel like it would be so perfect to study in a classroom. This book takes place in 1920s New York, and it's following our main character Evie. She has a special power where when she touches objects, she's able to read them and see their past and see different visions. And her uncle owns an occult museum, and at the very start of this book there is a bunch of murders happening in New York that seem to have different occult things going on around them. And so her uncle gets called in as an expert, and she goes along with them, and she touches something at the crime scene and it connects her to the person that is committing these murders. I honestly cannot say enough good things about this series or about this book. The second book is actually my favorite in the series, but the reason I think that this would be great to study in schools is because it touches on a lot of social issues that were going on during the 1920s, and I feel like there's a lot to learn and there's a lot of different themes that Libba Bray is exploring. I will give the caveat that I absolutely hate the fourth book, The Kim of Crows, so we just pretend that didn't happen in the series, but the first three books are absolutely flawless, and I definitely think that they would be great for kids to read in school. I literally have a tattoo for the series. It's kind of after this evil eye here. The next question I have is, what is the most clever book you've ever read? And for this I would definitely have to say The Fifth Season. Obviously there's other books that I've read that I think are clever, but this is the one that I read most recently that literally just like scratched an itch in my brain because it was just so masterfully done. The Fifth Season is the first book in a fantasy series that centers on these people who are able to control the earth. If you've ever seen Avatar, they're sort of like earthbenders. As a whole, society is very afraid of these people because they're very powerful and they can cause natural disasters. The reason it's called The Fifth Season is because this is something that happens like once every century, and basically it's kind of an apocalypse situation. And so the characters that we're following are all people who have this earthbending power, and they all have a different tale, like how it's going down. And the reason that this book is so clever, you have to read it to know. I literally cannot say what makes it clever, but at the end of it, you're like, what is going on? Like the way that all these perspectives come together is literally insane. Also, just the world building in this is so incredible. I will say, if you read this for the first 100 pages, you're probably going to be very confused. You just have to be patient, buckle in, and go along for the ride because N.K. Jemisin's writing is so fantastic. I just loved this book so much. I've been thinking about it ever since I read it. I really need to pick up the sequel. The next question is, aside from reading, what are some other hobbies you enjoy? And to this, I have to say I have way too many hobbies. It's kind of hard to keep up, especially with doing YouTube on top of reading. For the last 5-ish years, I have been doing pole dancing. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen me post things about pole before, but that is a passion of mine. That's how I like to work out. And then most recently, I also added in doing Taekwondo. I saw some TikToks of people doing really cool kicks, and I was like, I want to be a badass and learn martial arts. And so I started taking Taekwondo classes, I want to say in like October, and now I'm a yellow belt. I will say that I am a little spotty with attending class. So it's gonna be a while before I get my next belt, but I can do a snap kick and a roundhouse kick, so don't mess with me. And then I also got a sewing machine for Christmas, so I've been trying to learn how to sew my own clothes. I don't have anything I can show yet because some of my sewing projects have been a little bit of a fail, but I'm currently working on a dress, and so if it ends up coming out good, I will show you guys. But yeah, sewing is another new hobby of mine. And then finally, the other thing that I really love doing is my nails. I do my nails at home. I used to be someone that went to the nail salon to get my nails done, and then I just kind of got tired of going, and so I started doing this this thing called semi-cured nail strips. And so they're basically these gel strips that you put on your nails and you trim them down and then you cure them under a lamp. And so the reason that I always have nice nails in my videos is because I do this, I want to say like every 1 to 2 weeks. And so that is another little hobby of mine. I don't really think of it as a hobby though, because it's kind of a necessity. I need to have nice nails because I don't really like having bare nails. My natural nails are very weak. The next question I got is, what are your favorite Switch games so far this year? And to that I have to say, I honestly haven't been playing my Switch that much this year. I definitely need to pick it up some more. I've only played about 3 games. The one that I've probably enjoyed the most is one called Goetia. I don't know if I am pronouncing that right. This game was actually very hard. It's a puzzle game and you play this ghost that's going through this family manor. Even though some of the puzzles were stupidly hard, I really enjoyed the story and the gothic atmosphere of being in this dilapidated manor. It just had the perfect spooky vibes. It has a lot to do with demonology and different just kind of like, I don't even know, like spooky, gothic, Victorian kind of energy. And so I feel like it'd be the perfect game to pick up in October if you like playing these sorts of games. But I do want to give the warning that you probably will have to look up some walkthroughs like I did, because some of the puzzles literally make no sense. Let me know in the comments what you've been playing this year. Is there anything that I should look into playing? Because I definitely need some inspiration. What's a fantasy book that in your opinion can be enjoyed by people who want to try to get into the genre but have a hard time? And to that I would definitely have to say Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. This is the perfect starter fantasy book if you've been really wanting to get into adult fantasy, because the magic system in this is very non-existent. Like magic exists, but it existed a long time ago, and so nobody really practices anymore, and so the magic very slowly gets introduced into this. The more complexity comes in with the politics in this, and so I feel like it's a really good starter book for getting into adult fantasy. Theft of Swords follows our 2 main characters, Royce and Hadrian. They are very well-known thieves. They're known as the Ryeria, and people hire them to carry out different assassinations, to steal different things. And at the very start of this novel, they are hired by this mysterious man, and when they show up to do the job, they actually get framed for murdering the king. And in order to get out of that, they actually have to kidnap the crown prince, and they run away with him, and there's this whole situation that goes on and hijinks ensue. And as the series goes on, you just get to know these characters, and I love them so much. Also, if you like really good audiobooks, the dramatized version of this audiobook is so phenomenal. It's got a full cast of narrators as well as music and sound effects, and it really just brought me into this story. I don't know what I would have rated this if I hadn't listened to that audiobook, but I have absolutely loved reading this series. I haven't read the 3rd book yet, but I really need to. But this is so great, and I definitely think that it would be a great place to start with fantasy. Has your favorite book or series changed over time, or is it the same? My favorites change all the time, and it really stresses me out when people ask me what my favorite book is or what my favorite series is. I definitely always have a list of books that I absolutely love and want to share with people, but to pick just one literally makes me sweat and makes me feel so stressed out. So please don't ask me that. What's your favorite part of being a booktuber? Interacting with viewers and subscribers is my absolute favorite thing. Every time I upload a new video, I'm always in my YouTube creator studio just waiting for new comments to come in, because I love responding, especially in those first few days when you post a new video. It's just so fun to me, which is also why I'm so excited to be starting my Patreon, because I'm just gonna get to interact with people so much more. It's just so much fun to talk to people about books and for people to enjoy my content, and I just can't wait to have a little bookish community. What made you want to start a channel? I know I've told this story multiple times in videos, but basically in 2015 I had left a very controlling church, and I was really lonely. Like, all of my friends had stopped being friends with me, and I didn't have anyone to talk to. So I decided to join BookTube because I saw a video posted by Kaz from Little Book Owl where she basically talked about how to become a booktuber, and I just saw an opportunity and I took it, because I've always thought I had a great personality for YouTube. I've always been a huge fan of YouTube itself. I've been watching it since like 2006, 2007, like when it first started, and I always wanted to be a YouTuber, and I love reading, and so becoming a booktuber was just like the perfect opportunity for me, and so here I am today. So in short, the answer is loneliness. Do you have kids? Hold on just a second, I'll show you my child.
Ugh, she's so heavy.
The only child that I want in my life is my dog, Billie Eilish. She is my love. I love her so much. I did wake her up from a nap. Look at the camera, show them how adorable you are. In all seriousness, I have absolutely no plans to have children while I am alive on this mortal coil. I don't really like kids, and I've never really wanted to be a mother, so Billie is gonna have to be it for me. What's your birthday? My birthday is January 20th, 1992. I'm actually 31 years old. I've been getting quite a few comments recently that lead me to believe that people think I'm in my early 20s. I don't know, there's just something about the way that people talk to me that I don't think they realize that I am indeed in my 30s. But yeah, I am a 31-year-old woman. Where do you get all your cute hair clips and accessories? I know Mr. Bezos is evil, but I do get all of my little hair accessories from Amazon. I be using my Amazon Prime account to an obscene amount. That leads us into the next question, which is kind of related, and it is, how would you describe your fashion sense / personal style? I have 3 words for you: puff sleeve supremacy. Every shirt you see me wear pretty much always has puff sleeves. I love puff sleeves. I also love a square neck as well as a sweetheart neck. Like this sort of looking top is what you're gonna see me in most often. I really enjoy girly looking things. I like florals. I do a lot of my shopping at ASOS, Hollister, Abercrombie, just anywhere I can get a puff sleeve, that's what I'm gonna wear. I'm one of those people, you know that TikTok sound that's like, if I like it, I'm just gonna buy it another color. And if I like it, I'm gonna buy it another color. Like that's basically how I am with this style of shirts. Like if we went in my closet, it all looks the same. I have been made fun of multiple times by my friends because every time I get a dress or top, they're like, don't you already own that? Favorite book adaptation. I've never read the books, but I absolutely love Vampire Diaries. It is a trashy show and I don't care how unhinged the later seasons get. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I've rewatched it a couple of times. It's just so juicy and good. It's that quintessential CW, just like trashy show that you can put on and have a good time and everyone is sexy. Highly recommend it if you've never seen it. The next question is literally one that I asked you guys not to ask, and that is your top 5 books of all time. It is so hard to choose favorites, so I'm probably gonna list more than 5, and I don't feel like getting any of them for my bookshelf, so we're just gonna have to be okay with that. But the ones I wrote down are Half a Soul, The World Gives Way, the Veronica Speedwell series, People We Meet on Vacation, Ella Enchanted, Harry Potter. I know JK Rowling is evil, but I have a Harry Potter tattoo. Obviously we all love Harry Potter. Anne of Green Gables, Persuasion, and The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Do you have a favorite movie or TV show? I was trying to think long and hard about this because there's quite a few shows that I love, but I think one that I rewatched the most would be Buffy or Parks and Rec. I also recently watched Yellow Jackets, which I absolutely loved, but that show's not really over, so I can't really say how I'm gonna feel next season. The next question is also very difficult, and that is the worst book you've ever read. I don't even know how to choose because I've done so many video concepts where I read terrible books, but I feel like one that always comes to mind is Pygmy by Chuck Palahniuk. I know that this book is supposed to be satire and everybody got mad at me when I said that I didn't like it and I thought it was offensive. Just because something is labeled as satire does not mean that you can say whatever the fuck you want. Like that book was offensive on many levels and I did not enjoy it at all. I don't think Chuck Palahniuk is for me. I feel like he tries to be really weird just for the sake of being weird and also just inappropriate, and he just gives me the ick. So I did not like that book, but that definitely is probably one of the worst that I've ever read. The next question is actually really fun. Someone asked, who is your favorite unhinged book character of all time? And I have the most perfect answer for this. It's a book that I recently read. I can't talk about it in too much detail because I have a reading vlog coming out soon where I read it, but it is Lana from the Mindfuck series. I love her so much. Like if Lana started a cult, I would join it. I love her brand of just being unhinged and crazy and killing all these men that have wronged her. Again, I don't want to talk about it too much because I have a vlog where I read it, so we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. The next question is also fun. It's 3 desert island books, and so I'm trying to think of books that I would want to reread over and over and over. I feel like Ella Enchanted might be one that I bring. Then maybe People We Meet on Vacation, just because that one's kind of like beachy, and if I'm on an island, might as well bring a beachy book. Honestly, I might bring the Mindfuck series because it's so long and you could reread it so many times, and this is basically 5 books in one, so I'm gonna say this even if it's cheating. This next person asks, what skills are needed to design apps, like coding, question mark? And to this I say you definitely do not need to know how to code to design apps. So I work in my day job as a product designer. I basically do UI UX, and so my job is to design a mobile app, and I do not know code literally at all. Like whenever I'm talking to the engineers I work with, I'm like, you guys have to dumb down what you're saying so much because I'm literally an idiot when it comes to code. I feel like the skills that you need to design apps is more around design thinking and being good at knowing what users need. And so you need to know how to use Figma. That is the program that most people use for UX design, and then just understand the basic principles of user experience. I do have a video coming out soon where I redesign Goodreads. It was something that I announced a while back on my channel, and so that'll be going up, I believe, in August. And so I will talk a little bit more about what goes into user experience at that time. So if you're curious, just look out for that video. What's the worst romance book you've ever read in your life? This is very difficult because I've read so many bad romance books. So I'm just gonna list a few. Credence by Penelope Douglas, November 9 by Colleen Hoover, The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez, and then The Haunting Adeline by H.G. Carlton. All of those are completely terrible, abysmal. Some of them are worse than others, but they're all kind of on the same level and then just get worse and worse from there. And the final question is, are you going to be doing any lifestyle content soon? Not to go back to my Patreon, but I feel like my Patreon is going to be the perfect place if you want to see lifestyle content from me. I have found that if I post anything that's too far from being book related on my regular channel, people don't really enjoy watching it. So I definitely want to save those sorts of video concepts for my patrons, because I feel like my patrons are definitely going to be the people who want to know more about me. So if you join my top tier on my Patreon, you'll definitely be able to see different videos, maybe about me doing my makeup, maybe me doing my nails, hanging out with my boyfriend, just anything that comes to mind and anything that you guys request, I will do on my Patreon. But that brings us to the end of this Q&A. Let me know down below how you enjoyed it. If you've made it to this point in the video, feel free to use the white heart emoji. I just thought of that because I'm wearing this little white heart necklace that I got recently. I've been loving this. I don't know if you've noticed, I've been wearing it like in all of my videos. Also, please let me know if you are going to be joining my Patreon. I'm so excited to start this journey with everyone. My first Patreon exclusive video will actually be going up next week. I am doing another one of those romance reading vlogs. I'm reading mafia romance and it's quite interesting and funny. So the video that will be going up on Patreon is actually an extended vlog where I read a 4th mafia book, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you want to see that extra content, be sure to join my Patreon and you will definitely get a video next week. We also will be voting on the book club pick. I already have a poll up, and so if you join the Patreon in the higher tier, you're able to vote today, and then I will very soon announce the book club pick for everyone else. And it's just gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited to get closer to everyone and just create a little bit of a community. And I don't know, I can't stop smiling because I am just so excited by this concept, and I hope that everyone that joins has a great time, and it's just going to be so exciting. Also, if you're unable or don't want to join my Patreon, that's also totally fine. I really appreciate all the support that you guys give me on my regular YouTube videos, and I just thank you guys all so much for watching. You're all beautiful. Have a nice day.